One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably.
Mia Fey.
There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister.
Mia Fey.
You once worked alongside her. It was when you were a defense attorney.
Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney.
With your honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right?
Last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. The name rings a bell.
It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court. The tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming bitch in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense lawyer at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself.
Mia. You can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
Also, ow my hand. That was dumb.
I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder. But very little information about the case was released to the press.
But you weren't dead at all.
No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma.
I see.
My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. The woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight and all of my hair turned white due to the severe damage it caused. It's terrible. Apparently it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness.
They turned your life support on and off and on again.
5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. Then one morning my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? And no one brought coffee into that room? I know, weird, right? Also, and the worst possible news was waiting for me.
It was decaf.
Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered. The woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed. The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne.
Just gotta keep going.
Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. For someone like me, someone who had slipped away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor.
If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live?
First was you, Wright.
Huh? Me?
If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her. But you let her die. It was all your fault.
It wasn't like that.
I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor? My other reason for living. She goes by the name of Maya Fey. Huh? You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Korean village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her.
That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center.
I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. Thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it.
That makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out.
Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. Contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was forced to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey. But
Okay, did I, sleep through something, or is he just now confessing?
he's pretty much telling all. He's just like, alright, you got my name. Now you get to hear my story. How did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years. She had been missing for almost 20 years.
Clear your throat, woman.
Officially, yes. What do you mean officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government.
Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of Kurain had great authority.
Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. Police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. So I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor. Which apparently gives you, super authority in this world, whereas being a defense attorney gives you shit.
Japan.
So my mother was cooperating with you? Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always. That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong the resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it. The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. It's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fey if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. Mother. That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan.
You mean pearls, don't you?
We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan. But she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of. And that's why Misty Faye had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What do you mean?
If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself.
Been forever since you talked.
Yeah, I'm noticing, because the longer I go without talking, the more I start to lose consciousness.
As Master of Karain, Misty Faye's power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Faye wouldn't be able to. What?
Rabble.
What? Is this true? Yes.
How long is this episode gonna be when it's just talking?
My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Faye. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple. Just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne, which you did.
Godot. Well, that's my line, okay.
Anyway, now that he's had his one word, that's all I'm going to admit to, Wright.
Huh?
There's no doubt about it, you're a great defense lawyer. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. Background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Faye, and I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot. Coffee.
Good answer.
Well tried. You're the real deal. And finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own. No, Nick, please don't.
Maya.
I heard the whole thing, because I was standing right here. Oh, also from my sister in the medical office in Pearl's body. That's why I had to protect Mr. Godot. No, you don't. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia, and me too.
Mia? Me too. Maya, I know that.
Nick.
But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify.
Testify! Miss Faye, your testimony, please.
This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips.
I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. All right, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder?
The final testimony, we're almost done. Maybe. Let's do this. Home stretch!
Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead, though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. Ah. These red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them. I lied. People do that. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Things break, Trite. Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? Looks like you still can't prove it.
Maya is telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me.
Well then, Mr. Wright. Proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness.
Press.
If I may.
Huh?
I'd like to try something.
Okay.
Because there's one piece of evidence we haven't used yet. The dagger.
Dagger. I imagine that we're going to use the dagger to say, you were stabbed with this, we can get the blood tested.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it was in the face. Because it knocked his lights out, quite literally.
Okay. That's good. I don't know if we can use that here yet. Because the point I think is we're trying to get either more information or a contradiction. When we present evidence, we're using it to contradict.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start pressing, but it's good to have that info. Lights shining in the dark. I don't think you could make a mistake about that.
Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure that they were from Mr. Godot's mask either. I feel like I'm pretty noticeable.
I don't get the feeling she's coming from anymore, but... Always press. But just after that, you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember, after all. There was a person I couldn't identify in front of me.
Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly.
Alright then, let's go on with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights?
That blood, was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood?
I think so, probably. Just at that moment. I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice. So that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with the murder weapon. Is that right?
Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation.
Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that?
Struck back? How do you know that?
Well, you're right. I didn't see it exactly. But I could tell by the sound of their breathing and movement. And also the smell of blood. I've witnessed more horror than any young lady should ever have to in one life. So then, what did you do at that point? I couldn't move.
Stretching, hang on.
I couldn't move like Yash is. I could just barely make out their shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do.
Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier?
Yes, I think so. But suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark.
They went out? To the ball game?
Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. Well, what could it mean?
If the red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of a fight,
Maybe the mask was damaged.
or maybe it was knocked off.
Or maybe the batteries ran out, right, Trey? Or maybe those little red pinhead looking lights just...
I did the thing again. My finger's falling asleep. What could have really happened then?
Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream.
What do you mean by just at that moment?
Just at that moment.
Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out?
Yes, I do. Yes, that's right.
The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
No. No. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice.
You can stop now.
Wah, 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 wah. Oh, great. The judge was going dubstep. Wah, wah, wah.
Wub, 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 I am the wub judge. Do, do, wub, wub, wub. Judge step.
Judge step. So then, that scream came from the killer.
Guilty. That's gotta be it.
I think... Could I... Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it. Then the killer let out a scream of pain. Oh. After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow. Maybe. Well, Mr. Wright. Seems to make sense to me.
It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder.
There's a small contradiction.
I'm sorry to say this. That interpretation would create an enormous contradiction.
That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct.
Yeah. Remember the testimony she just gave? Before the killer let out a scream, Mai said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade of the staff had already been plunged into the victim. She couldn't have struck back with a sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff.
There you go. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trite.
There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here.
Larry! Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff. What could she have used to strike back at the killer? My attorney's badge.
Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime.
Oh, that's right. He hadn't actually used this, so I forgot about it.
This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into a pine tree. Crime scene, pine tree. Crime scene, pine tree.
Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me.
Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well.
Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have come from the victim.
Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? It passed. Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. Behind a RoboCop mask!
You don't know that. So you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer?
Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood.
Nice theory, Trite. Order in the court.
Is this the end? Have I done it? Please? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test.
Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say that it turned out I was the killer.
Okay.
Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that?
What?
Just think for a second. His dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There's already a bloodstain on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yeah, what does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it.
That can't be.
In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, Wright. That blood doesn't belong to me. Not a chance.
What?
In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue your testimony. Wait a minute. What's the problem?
I know I probably shouldn't be saying this, but, there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation.
Maya! That's my job!
This dagger, you said that it wounded the killer.
That's right.
But, if Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger, his clothes should have been bloody or have a rip in them, right?
People have spare sets of clothes, Maya, unlike you.
Maya, maybe just change his clothes? That'd solve the contradiction pretty easily.
What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder.
Oh, right, he couldn't!
Oh, that's true. Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. Oh, you know, she's got a point. And once the bridge was fixed, the police headed for the inner temple. And Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. Like a badass. He never had a chance to change his clothes.
Ah! I just had the mental image that he fought them naked!
Sexy, isn't it?
Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him.
What? Was that someone knocking on your door?
No.
Okay. What? No one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes?
Did the judge take smart pills during the last recess?
Yes.
Well then, maybe the killer took off his...
Gosh.
That way he wouldn't get any blood on them.
Objection, I do not fight women naked. That's impossible, Wright. You know how cold it gets up there late at night? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid.
And with bad memories, too.
So that's all you got? Knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, me and Faye were here.
Where she is, usually.
Me and Faye were here. She would have closed the book on this case already.
If Mia Fey were here, she'd also be turned on by the
So
idea.
come on, Wright. Can you do it or not? Convict me. How about it, Mr. Wright? Accuse Mr. Godot of being the killer. Can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence?
The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it.
Heh, that's good. Fight her till the bitter end, Wright.
The corner theme is playing.
Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, then why don't we go for the unlimited penalty?
Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need.
Give me a break, you've got nothing, Wright.
So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle.
Alright then, Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've got.
There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger.
But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a bloodstain on his clothing.
There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound.
What did you say? Hidden? Godot noises.
This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle.
Don't you fuck it up now.
I don't need to think about why there were no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound.
The end of the line, the final stop, Wright. Let's hear what you got. Where's this location where you say the killer hid his wound?
Wait.
I think you just present him. Heh. I don't know what you're talking about. Frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Wright? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him.
Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask! During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved.
You really don't want me to remove this, Wright? It's kind of ugly under there. Just now, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I can never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. Truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. You? Yourself? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me. No one else.
I mean, you were kind of in a coma at the time, so...
Tried to avert my eyes from the truth to escape the harshness of reality. Just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit.
But you saved Maya.
Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway.
What do you mean?
Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, and there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away.
Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick?
Nah, Pearl.
But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. But I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason.
No. Why?
I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all.
Huh?
I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me.
You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya.
I was honestly thinking that during the trial, if he had this much foresight into it, could he have just made sure it didn't happen? Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night, in the darkness of the garden, I saw her silhouette. Part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. Not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Did I really, really want to kill Dahlia?
I mean, everybody does.
Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Yeah, there was probably
Yep.
a bit of that.
Yeah, probably like 20%.
Could it have been simply a desire for revenge, which I feel overlaps with that last thing I brought up? And now I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. Finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. Stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people.
Objection!
In that one moment, I understood everything.
Mr. Godot.
I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando.
Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me.
Thanks.
Your wound. It's bleeding.
Yeah, it does that. Did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist.
Huh?
These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment.
Mr. Armando,
You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I'ma pass out now. Thump.
Well,
This time it really is all over, isn't it?
please.
Defendant,
Yes, Your Honor.
although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself.
I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I willingly cooperated anyway.
Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright.
Hmm?
I want to apologize to you.
Apologize to me? For what?
For the case 6 years ago, of course.
I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your old lover?
Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 6 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me.
It's not all that surprising. Two of you hardly knew each other.
Huh? What do you mean?
You and my sister, you only met twice.
Huh? We only met twice?
The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met her was 6 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed.
No way! It can't be true! I mean, during our whole relationship, we were...
For those 6 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister.
Huh? It wasn't Dahlia?
I hope one day you can forgive me, Feeny.
You mean...
That's right. I lied to you for 6 months.
But why? Why would you do such a thing?
Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance. She couldn't move about freely.
So that's why you...
My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst.
Prepared for the worst? The liverwurst?
She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice.
You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you?
She already had so much to answer for. I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance.
And that's why you came to me. You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place.
But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 6 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans with you for that day. It was the first time that had ever happened.
That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer with you.
I think she must have noticed.
Noticed what?
My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her. Even if it meant her life. Or mine.
Iris.
After spending half a year by your side, my feelings toward you, they changed.
I have something to say to you, too.
Yes?
You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you.
Thank you.
How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright?
Yeah, I think you're right.
The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Doden. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant. Court is now adjourned. Confetti.
There was no confetti, and I'm annoyed at this. I want confetti, damn it.
There was no confetti. This was sad.
I earned the confetti!
Sorry, you were getting my coffee, so I told them no.
Ah, fair enough. So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended, was justice really served? Yes. The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand. Of course justice was served.
Still in there, huh?
Mia! Does Pearl serve any purpose nowadays besides just being a vessel for you?
Yeah, she's 9. She's not that important yet.
I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando, the man who cared so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. You mean, with that verdict? I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense lawyer could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me. Mia, you've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Mia, I'm sure we'll meet again. Someday, Phoenix. I've handled lots of cases and seen a lot of things. And along this journey, I've found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer.
Nick,
Maya,
I guess it's just like my sis said.
your sister, Mia?
That night, when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end.
But
Come on, cut it out with the gloomy face. Can't you see? Me, sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick.
Maya, how? How could you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened?
Yeah, obviously,
You were
she had
brutally
some
attacked.
coffee.
You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered. Yaj! Francisca! Really? Even now?
Still as softy as always, Phoenix Wright.
Excellent work, Wright.
Huh? Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back?
Oh, that's right. Guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me.
Helping you? I am a lawyer.
If these two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial,
I whip you.
the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
We are stalling for time. Wow, but where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold which forced him to sleep all day. Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head. Oh, ouch. Talk about your embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Francisca. Well, I'm not going to call Miss because I'm fairly certain you're only like a half dozen years older than me at most.
They're actually the same age.
Oh, holy shit.
I don't suppose... Oh. There's room for me in this group hug, is there?
Who said there was hugs? Oh, Larry.
What's with the longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once.
That's not true, right, Nick?
What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. No. Oh yeah, those portraits you painted. They were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
What, me?
Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy?
Because you scare me. Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can't say that it's lacking any resemblance.
Do you really mean it? What about you, Francie? Did I draw you well, too? What?
My beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something.
So then you'll do it, like you promised? You're going to model for my next picture book, Francie's Whiplash Splutches.
Don't get carried away.
Good, we didn't have to present evidence to him.
I figured it would just be his drawing.
Yeah, well, how about that? Guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. The painting of Pearl was pretty darn good, too, if you ask me. Huh?
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around.
Pearls? Where could she have gone? Normally she would have made a beeline for Maya.
Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Maya away. Hey, Pearly. Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you are wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that's happened.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I can't understand it either.
Francisca. It's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well.
I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can. What do you mean by now is exactly the time? Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry.
Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya. Edgeworth. I think I'm starting to understand too. Ah!
Then tell me Phoenix Wright. Who is Maya Fey being strong for?
I don't want to fuck this one up.
Probably Pearly?
It's Pearl or Godot.
I think it's Pearl. Pearl Fey.
The poor kid. After all, the reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan. It's for the good of the Fey clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya.
It's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Fey's mother was killed and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable.
And that's exactly why Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, until she could see her smile again.
Oh, hey, so this is where you all were. Well, looks like we got quite the bunch here today. Ah! What was that for, sir? Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own.
What's up, Detective Gumshoe?
Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary's just sort of kind of gone down by a teeny-weeny bit, but it's all right. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Ah! Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward.
Detective Gumshoe, you said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean...
Très bien. Where else?
I knew it. We're doomed.
Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you, Cryberry. You're invited too.
Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser shack eating potatoes. You know, Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls.
Oh, no.
Oh. Maya? What's wrong?
Nick, what do I do? Pearlie, I can't find her anywhere.
Huh?
I'll bet she just went back home. That's all. Thought so too, so I called the village. But no one has heard from her. This has never happened before. Okay, seriously, how would she get there already? The trial just ended. As I figured, she must have been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya. But none of this was her fault. What should I do?
Detective Gumshoe,
Yeah, what is it, pal?
could you guys go on ahead?
But what about you?
Maya and I will... We'll join you guys once we find pearls.
Nick,
Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
yeah, but sure that... Ah! Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, right?
We won't.
Well, where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone?
Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to.
Jail? Wright and Co. law offices? Oh, right, this place. Asakura Temple.
For pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started.
What's this? You're all back again so soon?
Sister Bikini?
I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight.
So she's here? Pearlie is here?
She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her?
Okay. Pearlie's not here.
Ah, Maya, the hanging scroll.
Someone cleaned it off.
It's gotta be pearls.
Mystic Maya! Pearlie! Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault and Mystic Maya's mother.
That's why you came here?
It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearly. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course I'm sad that what's stuck about me? Of course I'm sad that my mother is gone. But how do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie to just make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Mr. Nick, Mr. B, Mr. Bam, and you. I feel like some of those weren't names.
Quiet, you.
If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. That's why I had to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya!
I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty.
The Mysterious?
Of Mr. Mystery Miss Mystic Misty.
The Mysterious?
No, the mystifying, duh.
Sister Bikini!
Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night.
After dishonoring the name of the Kardane, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true, she'll always be with me, till the day I die, which is today!
So I don't have to think about her after today.
See you, Maya!
So long, sucker! Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets.
She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die.
That's the Master's talisman!
The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important. Rather, it was the contents.
That's...
A photo? Mother.
It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question.
Aww, they broke the pot too.
Even when the battle is over, and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother, too. I learned that from all of them.
Does every generation break that pot?
Yeah, Amy's like, long gone.
She's just like, I'm just
Well.
kind of watching the pot now just to be amused.
Well, shall we get going? Everyone is waiting. This is a day to remember. A day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today.
But I still can't.
Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise.
I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for three when you come back. Wow!
Alright, we're going to have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya. I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight.
There's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but
What is it, Nick?
reservations for training is fine and all. Why for 3?
Oh, come on. What'd you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us.
Huh?
I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you.
Huh?
It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do the special course, naturally. It's a great idea, after all, Mr. Nick. You'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right?
I already walked on a hot bridge.
We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick?
You know, I was wondering if I could say just one little thing.
Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it. Pearls knows.
I'm getting goosebumps too.
E.
Well then, here goes nothing. It did it on its own. Okay.
Woo!
Damn it, I was hoping we could have yelled it.
I don't feel like yelling. I have other people in the house.
Alright, make sure to read though.
I'm really having to work extra hard now. Master of Korean and the office manager of Wright & Co. law offices. And I have to be a good big sister to Pearlie and Nick, too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or being framed for murder or something like that.
Tatsuro Iwamoto.
So it's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through with the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special ultra course here, too. I think I'll surprise the two of them by making them a secret reservation.
Oh no, Pearl.
They're gonna die.
It's where you get stabbed over and over with icicles.
Maggie bought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off. Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir. Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. No comment.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just not saying anything on that. When do I get to voice somebody?
Mr. Wright, I am once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of the Korean exhibit was a great success. I even got to see Miss Von Karma, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip, and said that I must show you what I've learned.
No, I'm leaving now. Goodbye. Just nope, right out the door. This was you as well.
I don't remember. Master
Sorry,
Basketball.
We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all the criminals in the city.
Armando is cut it out, please.
Pretty cute, huh?
Well, we also sell plans to the criminals as kind of side business. Wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals. I don't remember if that was his voice or not.
You gotta remember those voices quickly, Rowdy. You gotta be ready.
Damn it.
Snap reflexes. Oh, this was me.
Mr. Wright, I want to thank you for exterminating Don Tigre. I returned the $500,000 along with the tea set, a special thick tea, when I mixed with my own 2 hands. I bet he's drinking it now. Win through compromise.
Creepy.
Still favorite character besides Phoenix himself. Don't judge me. I'm just old and in the way. A wriggly, grumpy, clown-nosed waste of flesh. At least, that's what I thought. My grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 9 years old and I cried like a baby with a dirty diaper. I like when they do this stuff where it like shows how everybody's doing now. Oh, robot lady.
As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Elg. I do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adamada. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly. I don't get it.
Because literally everyone at that company has a palindrome as a name.
Oh.
My, more reporters. Since the murder, we've made so much money, I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because I provide such a nice visual, especially in spring. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back.
Yeah, because she's running the place by herself now.
Yeah. Wow, I guess that's all the characters. Oh, wait, no, here we go.
You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone to come and visit me here the other day. Of course, I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed.
Voice.
Us!
Yeah, it was us. Ben Judd. And it wasn't Sam Riegel yet. Miles Edgeworth. Sean King. Mia Fey. Christina Catano. Also me.
Yeah. You, me, you. Let's see what the next one's be.
Yay! James C. Wilson. Go, 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 go. Oh my god, I'm feeling. Go, cup. Oh. And then it's another you.
Me. God damn it.
It's me!
Oh no.
What's this? I'm back from a long and tired vacation and no one is here to greet me. I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I've got no one. And what kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? What with all the flashing lights and switches, I feel like some sort of space alien. And now what I'm going to do with all these macadamia nuts I brought back for everyone. If I bring them over to Edgypo, I know exactly what city it's in. I really can't accept these, I'm afraid. Or something just as painful as fragile heart. Oh, when will I ever find a gentleman who treat me like a refined lady? Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat.
Did it just say ray gun?
I think so.
My ray gun speaks to you.
At Sushi. Oh, right.
I finally found something I love to do. Franzie's Whiplash Splash is going to turn the art world on its head. I should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist. A really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all.
Eh.
Shinji? The exec prod.
Oh, they didn't put the French chef in.
Oh, I think the idea is this is supposed to be something Larry drew.
Oh, he is good.
Because it is the sketchbook. Yeah, because I was saying, like,
My
that
card
fire
is so
sketch.
short.
Yeah. Capcom.
Never heard of him.
And that is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations.
13 hours.
And that's not counting the first session, which was the first bit of everything up to the start of the first trial day. I'm glad we didn't do this all in one session.
Yeah, although we kind of bulldozed that end bit.
I mean...
Honestly, I think we kind of did half and half. Well, no,
Yeah,
we did more than half this time.
We bulldozed it in the sense that we were driving a bulldozer through quicksand.
At least we didn't have to look anything up like we did the first part of the session where it was like, find the tiny piece of paper.
Yeah. To be fair, I think that was the only time we've ever had to look something up in the Ace Attorney series.
Yeah, I think so. I think like I've started to look stuff up before and you were like, no, wait, got it. So what's next?
Apollo Justice.
I heard he has laser eyes.
What?
Yeah.
It'd be cool if he did.
Mm.
So, I have been Phoenix Max, Ace Attorney, and Tired Person.
I'm Rhino Edgeworth, prosecutor and bro.
Also Renault.
Also,
Or no. And also Raya. And a lot of other people.
And also, I'm.
Yeah, and that's what they're ending the series on. The butt signal.
You did it once and now it'll never go away. It'll be coming back next game just like Winston's scream.
No.
Whoosh! Boom, boom.